Part 1. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 1. Go to hell. Arita raised the iron rod in her hand, ready to smash the two hateful brats in front of her into meat pies. Suddenly, she saw something falling from the sky. It seemed like a person. Boom. Huge impact with such force, Arita was knocked unconscious directly. Was there an earthquake? Bayou rubbed his eyes and looked around dimly. Then he saw a boy with a straw hat, and a boy with pink hair and glasses. There were many people with knives around, and they all looked like they looked fierce. However, these people all had their eyes wide open and their mouths wide open, looking surprised. Dream. Bayou felt very soft under his body. When he lowered his head and looked at it, he jumped up in fright. Damn it! Who is this fat woman? He was really frightened. Anyone who wakes up from sleep and sees an old and ugly fat woman under him will be frightened. Ha ha ha. When the boy wearing a straw hat heard Bayou's words, he couldn't stop laughing. Luffy, stop laughing and run away now. Kibi pulled Luffy and said softly. He fell from the sky, nothing happened, and he looked like a monster. Hearing Kibi's words, Bayou was stunned. Red vest, blue shorts, wearing slippers, wearing a straw hat. This iconic outfit is hard to recognize. A word immediately came to mind. Time travel. Bayou pinched himself with some suspicion. It hurt. It hurt. This was not a dream, I've traveled through time. Looking at my body, I'm still wearing pajamas. It's not about soul travel, but wearing clothes. Huh. Take a deep breath and calm down. Which otaku doesn't have a time travel dream? He is naturally no exception. But after the real time travel, another feeling. This is a pirate world where the strong are respected. Without strength, there is no way to survive on this sea. My name is Luffy, why did you fall from the sky? Are you living in heaven? Luffy walked up to Bayou and looked at him curiously. My name is Bayou, and I don't know how I fell from the sky. Bayou shook his head, and was also thinking about what to do in the future. If he remembered correctly, Luffy should have just left the sea now. The fat woman who was knocked unconscious by him should be the female pirate Arita. All around are ferocious pirates. With his small body, any minions can hack him to death. He doesn't want to die just after crossing. Now, the thickest thigh here is Luffy, only by following Luffy can we leave here safely. Lost your memory? Be my partner and I will help you find memories. Luffy extended the invitation very seriously. Are you serious? Bayou was very surprised. He was still thinking about how to get Luffy to take him out of here. But Luffy actually directly invited him to join the pirate group. Although Luffy looked a little stupid, he was actually not stupid at all. Especially the choice as for the crew, they definitely prefer lack to excess. Certainly. Bayou, become my partner. Luffy nodded seriously and stretched out his hand. Looking at Luffy seriously, Bayou fell into deep thought. Joining the Straw Hat Pirates is definitely exciting, and it is also the plot he is most familiar with. Even if he doesn't, Goldfinger can also live smoothly. And he doesn't have to worry about others stabbing him in the back. However, he knows very well that he has no strength at all. He doesn't even know whether he can cultivate the power of the pirate world, so he rashly joins the Straw Hat Sea. The thieves might be dead. Boom. 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 The cannonball exploded, causing a splash of water. Not good. The navy is coming. The pirates immediately spotted the warship in the distance and were so frightened that they immediately ran away. Bayou. Run. Luffy took Bayou and ran away. Wait for me. Kabi quickly followed. The three jumped on a small boat and lowered the cable. The boat instantly fell into the sea. Bang! Water splashed everywhere. Bayou saw an orange-haired girl. The girl also looked at him. He just opened his mouth. He wanted to speak, but was interrupted by Luffy. Set off! Luffy shouted, and quickly slid the oars with both hands. The boat flew across the sea like an arrow from the string. Few finally escaped. Luffy put down the oar and lay down on the boat. Bayou also breathed a sigh of relief. He was not tired, but he was mainly afraid. This speed was comparable to a super speed boat. Kaba's face turned pale, he was so scared. Bayou, aren't you willing to be my partner? Luffy looked at Bayou and asked. Why do you want me to be your partner? I might not even be able to beat him. Bayou pointed at Kaba beside him. Kaba was suddenly frightened and sweating profusely. Are you kidding me? A man who can't fall to death even if he falls from the sky can't beat him. Only a ghost can believe it. I don't know, anyway, there is a voice in my heart telling me that you must be my partner. Luffy shook his head. If others said this, Bayou wouldn't believe it, but Luffy would never lie. I'll take care of you from now on, Captain. Bayou smiled slightly and stretched out his hand. Anyway, it's like this now. It wouldn't be too bad to join the Straw Hat Pirates. Of course. Luffy happily held Bayou's hand, with a happy smile on his face. Ding. The triggering conditions are met and the strongest auxiliary system is successfully loaded. The system is being bound. Binding successful. Crew member Monkey D. Luffy was detected and his abilities were synchronized successfully. Crew Monkey D. Luffy's exclusive skills are being matched. A series of mechanically synthesized sounds sounded in the back of my mind. A systematic introduction also appeared in Bayou's mind. As long as a crew member officially joins the pirate group, he can have all the abilities of the crew member. Not only that, the system will also generate an exclusive skill that matches the crew member. After the crew fully learns this skill, the system will generate a second skill again, and there is no upper limit on the number of skills. At the same time, he can also use the exclusive skills of all crew members. However, the strength of the skill is determined by the level of comprehension of the crew member. For example, if the crew member only comprehends one level, he can only emit one level of power. On the other hand, if the crew member fully understands the skill, then he can unleash his full power. In short, the stronger the crew, the stronger he is. Everyone assisted him. It was indeed a support system, there was nothing wrong with it. Skill matching completed and being generated. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 2. Skill matching completed and being generated. Crew member Monkey D. Luffy, exclusive skill, 8-Gate Dungeon. 8-Gate Dungeon, a powerful physical technique from the world of Naruto, which unlocks physical limitations and gains powerful power in a short period of time. Due to different rules in the world, the effect of the skill will change. Please understand the details by yourself. Bayou was shocked. Unexpectedly, Luffy's first exclusive skill was the 8-Gate Dungeon. The strongest taijutsu in the world of Naruto. None of them. Luffy's rubber fruit, coupled with haki, combined with the 8-Gate Dungeon, what will the effect be? What abilities will other people gain when they get on board? What will happen to the war on top with the addition of the Straw Hat Pirates? Bayou, what's wrong with you? Luffy asked in confusion when he saw Bayou in a daze. It's okay, I remembered something, it seems to be a method of cultivation. Do you want to learn it? Bayou knows the dangers of 8-Gate Dungeon, but he can't resist the temptation to become stronger. Want to learn? Luffy blurted out immediately without even thinking about it. Okay, then I will teach you the 8 arts of hiding armor. Bayou said, raised his finger and pointed on Luffy's forehead, silently chanting in his mind teach skills. Buzz. An invisible wave of power entered Luffy's mind along Bayou's fingers. Luffy closed his eyes and stood motionless on the boat. After a moment, Luffy opened his eyes. 8-door Dungia, the first to open the door. Open. The powerful aura erupted instantly. The boat made an overwhelmed sound, as if it might break at any time. So strong. Baiyu was shocked. He didn't expect that Luffy could open the first door in seconds. At the same time, he discovered that Luffy only opened the first door and his strength was so strong. And now Luffy's physical condition is a bit like in the original work the second gear. But there is something different. In the second gear, Luffy's skin turns red and steam appears. In this state, there is only some redness and no steam appears. Phew. Luffy took a deep breath and returned to his normal state. The 8-gate Dungia is very powerful, but it is also very dangerous. Don't use it lightly. I'm tired and I'll take a nap first. Baiyu didn't really want to sleep, but was making a plan in his mind. Because his strength was directly linked to the crew. The stronger the crew, the stronger he was. After thinking about it, he fell asleep unknowingly. When he opened his eyes, the boat was already docked at the pier. Mr. Baiyu, you are finally awake. Please persuade Luffy quickly. He wants to invite a devil to be his partner. Kaba stopped mid-sentence because he remembered that the man in front of him was also a monster. Luffy looked at Baiyu and said, I haven't decided yet. Let's take a look first. They all say that the pirate hunter is very strong. If he is a good person, how about we invite him to be our partner? No problem, you are the captain, you make the decision. Baiyu waved his hand. Now he just wants to persuade Luffy to have more crew members. The more crew members he has, the stronger he will be. Who cares about the Navy admirals and the 4 emperors of the New World, they will all be killed. It's very dangerous for you to invite people like that to be your partners. Maybe you will all be killed by him. Although Kabu was very scared, he still wanted to persuade Luffy and Baiyu. After all, these 2 people saved him. Luffy, let's go eat, I'm a little hungry. Baiyu didn't pay attention to Kabu, he was really a little hungry. Okay, let's eat first. Luffy nodded and also didn't talk to Kabu. The 2 of them left directly with a tacit understanding. You wait for me. Kibi quickly followed, he also wanted to eat. The 3 of them came to a restaurant. As soon as they walked in, Baiyu saw a familiar figure. The little thieving cat Nami. Nami also discovered Baiyu, but only after taking a look, he started eating. Baiyu didn't say anything. This little thieving cat couldn't escape, and he wasn't in a hurry. He ordered some food casually, and the 3 of them started eating. Bang! The door of the restaurant was violently kicked open. A young man with yellow hair stepped in, followed by 2 Navy soldiers. This young master is here, why don't you hurry up and entertain me for free? Bellamibo shouted arrogantly. The expressions of several people eating in the restaurant changed, and they quickly got up and left. Don't leave in a hurry, I have one more thing to inform you. As soon as Bellamibo spoke, the people who were about to leave immediately stopped. Seeing all these people stop, his face was full of pride. I have been very bored recently, and I am preparing to execute the criminal Zoro. When the time comes, you all have to go to the scene to watch. How can you keep your words? You told your eldest brother before that if he persists for a month, you will let him go. A little girl ran out and pointed at Amber Bell angrily. Lixiang. The landlady quickly rushed out of the bar and held the little girl in her arms. I told him to hold on for a month, but I didn't say that I wouldn't kill him within this month. What a bunch of fools. Ha ha. Bellamab laughed proudly, then his smile disappeared and he looked at the mother and daughter. Covering a criminal is punishable by death. What are you still doing? No arrests yet. Hearing this, the 2 Navy soldiers behind him frowned, gritted their teeth, and walked over to prepare for arrest. Wait a moment. Luffy stood up. Do you want to go against the Navy? Belumber looked at Luffy. Little sister, why did you just say you would persist for a month? Luffy ignored Belle Mabel. Brother Sauron, in order to save me and my mother. The little girl quickly said this matter. Bayou, I have decided, I want Sauron to be our partner. Luffy clenched his fists and said seriously. Good. Bayou nodded. He found that the butterfly effect is real. Because of his arrival, the plot has begun to change. And he also knows very well that this change will only get bigger and bigger. If you want to deal with these changes, you must have strong strength. How dare you go against the Navy? Boom. Before Belle Mabel could finish his words, he was knocked to the ground by Luffy. Luffy. Don't be impulsive. He is the son of Colonel Monka. If you hit him, you will be in trouble. Kabi quickly hugged Luffy. Then wouldn't it be enough to beat him up together with his father? Bayou said from the side, let's go and meet our future partners. Luffy nodded and followed Bayou out. The two Navy soldiers glanced at the two people and took the initiative to get out of the way and let the two people leave. They were looking forward to it at this moment, hoping that these two people could really beat Colonel Monka. Fly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 3. Navy Branch 153. On the execution ground. Sauron was tied to a stake. Because I haven't eaten for a long time and been exposed to the sun, the corners of my mouth have become dry and cracked. Hello. You guys are a nuisance, get out of here. Otherwise I will kill you. Zoro raised his head and looked at the people on the wall with very unkind eyes. Luffy climbed over the wall and came to Zoro. My name is Monkey D. Luffy, and I am the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Zoro Long, become my partner. One Piece? How dare you say it? Zoro glanced at Luffy and said. Go away. I won't be a pirate. You don't think that Bellamieber will really let you go, do you? Bayou sat on the wall and said that kid had no intention of letting you go from the beginning. He made you persist for a month. He was just humiliating you. When he had enough fun, he would kill you directly. Who are you? Zoro's eyes narrowed slightly. Bayou jumped down from the wall and walked to Zoro. My name is Bayou. We will rescue you. How about you join our pirate group? This at that time, the little girl and Kirby from the restaurant ran over. Big brother, that Bellamieber is going to kill you, run away quickly. The little girl Lixiang had tears in her eyes. Zoro was caught here to save her, and now he is going to die. She is very sad. Mr. Zoro, only Luffy and Mr. Bayou can save you now. Although they are pirates, they are both good people. Kirby also said. Zoro looked at Luffy and Bayou, but said nothing and looked very troubled. A group of them were blatantly chatting with criminals in the Navy branch. It has attracted the attention of the Navy. Dad. They were the ones who beat me. Belumber cried immediately after seeing Luffy and Bayou. Waste. If you were not my son, I would be the first to kill you. Menka's eyes were filled with hatred and murderous intent. Every one of them dares to resist me. Gather. Capture the rebels. Yes. The Navy soldier immediately took the order. Whoever dares to resist Colonel Menka here will only die. Bayou is also a little anxious, and now the plot has changed, which is a very bad signal. He must speed up the process, and then he said, Luffy, I'm going to find Zoro's sword. I'll leave this to you. No problem. Luffy clenched his fist and glanced at Kibi, take your little sister and leave. Well, watch out for yourselves. Kibi also knows that he and Ben can't help here. All he can do is protect this little girl and not drag down Luffy and the others. This is a naval base. Do you plan to let him break into the base alone? Zoro looked at Luffy and said. It's okay, Baiyu is very strong. Luffy grinned, if you want to get your sword back, you can only be our partner. So mean-spirited. Asshole. Zoro cursed loudly and looked at Baiyu who was running towards the base. Baiyu flicked his arm, suddenly lengthened, grabbed the window of the base building, and flew up directly. Who is this guy? Zoran was really frightened. He had never seen such a human being before. Is Baiyu also a rubber man? Luffy muttered, not expecting Baiyu to have the same ability as him. Rubber man. Zoro looked at Luffy curiously. I am the rubber man who ate the rubber fruit. Luffy said and stretched his mouth wide. Zoro's eyes widened and his jaw almost dropped in fear. Baiyu ignored the surprise of others. Anyway, this matter will be exposed sooner or later. Bang. Break. The window jumped into a room. Ah! The scream sounded. Baiyu was also startled. When he turned around, he smiled, it's you. It turns out you are a thief. Snort. You're not a good person if you break in through the window. Nami also recognized Baiyu. I'm just here to help my partner get his stuff back. I'm not stealing. Goodbye. Baiyu didn't say any more to Namido. Anyway, this little thieving cat would definitely not be able to escape. Now he just wanted to get Zoro's knife and leave quickly. Just as he reached the door, Baiyu stopped and turned around. He turned over and said there will be chaos here soon. If you want to leave, hurry up. After that, he left directly. What a strange man. Nami muttered, thought for a moment and quickly followed Baiyu. Why are you following me? Baiyu asked a little strangely. This place is so big, you go your way, I go mine, why do you mean I follow you? Nami said confidently. Well, you go first. Baiyu acted like a gentleman and got out of the way. Asshole. Nami walked in front angrily. Who? Stop. Navy soldiers in the base discovered Nami. Help. Nami ran back quickly and hid behind Baiyu. It's okay if you want me to save you, you have to do me a favor. Baiyu looked at Nami and said. Okay, I promise you. Nami immediately agreed. Now her life is at stake. Anyway, it will be fine if she doesn't admit it when the time comes. It's you bastard. Shoot me now. Kill him. Belimber's face was wrapped in gauze and he shouted angrily. You came just in time. Baiyu's arm flung out, quickly lengthened, and grabbed Belamibo. Arm. It's getting longer. The Navy soldier's eyes widened with shock. Nami, who was hiding behind Baiyu, was also frightened. Just shoot. Baiyu smiled slightly and blocked Belamibo in front of him. Don't shoot. Belimber was almost frightened to death and shouted quickly. Where did you put Zoro's knife? Yes, in my room. Where is the room? Turn left ahead. Keep up. If you can't keep up, don't blame me for ignoring you. After Baiyu finished speaking, he rushed over with Belamibo. Nami wanted to escape alone, but thinking of the current situation and Baiyu's strong strength, she finally followed Baiyu quickly. Fine Suo. After taking Long's knife, he casually threw Belamibo aside. He grabbed the window with one hand and stretched his arm continuously. He turned to Nami and said, what are you still doing in a daze? Why don't you come over here, don't want to escape? Ah. Okay, how to run? Nami finally came back to her senses and looked at Baiyu with some fear. Just run. After Baiyu finished speaking, he hugged Nami, and the two of them jumped out of the window and flew into the sky. Ah! Nami screamed in fright. What are you afraid of? You can't die as long as I'm here. Baiyu hugged the princess in the air. Nami's pretty face turned red instantly. Just when the two of them were about to fall to the ground, Baiyu took a sharp breath, and his belly instantly became bigger, and it fell like a balloon. Hit the ground. Boom. After a bounce on the ground, Baiyu's body shape returned to normal, and he landed safely with Nami in his arms. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 4. Everyone on the execution ground except Luffy. Everyone's eyes widened and their jaws dropped to the ground. Nami was also scared to death. After jumping from such a high place, nothing happened. This is a monster. Damn rebels, one after another. After Menka came back to his senses, he was extremely angry. What are you doing standing there in a daze? Shoot them. Ka ka ka. All the guns of the Navy soldiers were aimed at Baiyu and the others. Pull the trigger. Bang bang bang, dense bullets flew out. Baiyu and Luffy stood in front of Zoro, one in front of him, and the other in front of Zoro. In front of Nami. Ha ha. It's useless. Luffy laughed and bounced all the bullets away. Baiyu just patted his clothes lightly and was unscathed. The marine soldier was frightened again. Monka was also frightened, because he knew that it belonged to the devil. Strength. Even if you have the power of the devil and dare to resist me, you will die. Since guns don't work, then hack them to death with knives. Yes. The Navy soldier rushed over quickly with his knife raised. Zoro, are you going to pick up the knife and become our partner now, or are you waiting to be hacked to death? Baiyu walked up to Sauron. Are you demons? Sauron said helplessly, forget it, rather than being hacked to death here, it is better to become a pirate. Wow. Very good. Luffy jumped up very happily and said excitedly, Baiyu, we have another partner. Idiot Luffy, now is not the time to be happy. Untie Zoro first. Baiyu looked at Luffy speechlessly. The enemies were rushing over with swords in hand, but he could still laugh. This rope is so difficult to untie. Luffy grabbed at it randomly. Not only did he not untie the rope, but he tied it tighter. Can't you use a knife? Zoran was very speechless. He had a knife and didn't use it. He had to use his hands. That wouldn't be exciting. Baiyu smiled. So exciting. Give me the knife quickly. Zolong's face turned dark. When he met these two madmen, he was convinced. All right. Baiyu saw that the Navy soldier had rushed over, and handed the knife to Zoro. After Zoro took the knife, his whole temperament immediately changed. He held a knife in one hand and said something on his mouth. Holding one in his mouth. Dang. Zoro blocked the marine soldier's knife and looked at the marine soldier with murderous eyes. If you dare to move again, I will chop you to death. The murderous eyes made the naval soldier suffocate. He really didn't dare to move. So handsome. Amazing. Luffy's eyes lit up. Zoro looked at Luffy and Baiyu and said, I promise to join your pirate group, but I have to make it clear first that I have my own ambitions. If you two stand in the way, me and you, just have a cesarean section and apologize. Ambition? Luffy asked curiously. I want to be the best swordsman in the world. Zoran's eyes were extremely determined. This is his ambition and his promise. Not bad, that's what being a partner of the Pirate King means. Luffy nodded with great satisfaction. Zoro, I have only one question for you. Baiyu looked at Zoran very seriously. What is the problem? Zolong looked at Baiyu with some confusion, not knowing why he suddenly became serious. Have you used the toilet these days since you were tied up? Baiyu asked the question he was curious about before traveling through time. The veins on Zoro's forehead bulged one by one. What are you doing standing there in a daze? Why don't you chop them to death? Menka's roar interrupted Sauron's surge in anger. After receiving the order, the naval soldier raised his knife again and prepared to attack. Zoro. Squat down and let you see my new moves. Luffy yelled and swung his right foot back, making it very long. Seeing this, Zoro crouched down quickly. Rubber, whirlwind. The long legs of more than 10 meters swept out, like a hurricane. Bang! All the naval soldiers flew out at this moment. Even Menka was kicked out. Zoro. They are so strong, I wonder if they can beat Eren. Nami couldn't help but think about it, then shook her head and threw the thought out of her mind. Then he glanced at Baiyu and said, since you are pirates, let's meet again. Did you forget something? How could Baiyu let this little thieving cat go? What do you want to do? Nami frowned. Sure enough, there are no good pirates. You should be able to sail, right? Bye. You pointed at Luffy and Zoro beside him, and continued, three of us don't understand navigation skills. I want you to take us out of here and go to the next island. Then our grudges will be wiped out. Nami hesitated for a moment, but thinking that Baiyu had indeed helped her just now. Moreover, these three people were powerful and might be able to help her make more money, so she immediately nodded and agreed. Baiyu, you are so amazing, you can actually find the navigator. Luffy was very excited. He was worried about how the three of them would go to sea before. I am not your partner, at most it is a cooperative relationship. Of course, if you give me money, maybe I can be your partner temporarily. Nami looked like she was obsessed with money. In her opinion, such a powerful pirate should have a lot of money, right? Wait a minute, you said our pirate group doesn't even have navigators, right? Zoran discovered the problem. Well, strictly speaking, there are only 3 of us in the pirate group now. Baiyu nodded. Do we dare to call ourselves a pirate group with just the 3 of us? Zoran felt like he was really on a pirate ship. So what, since we are so strong, we will find our partners soon. Luffy said confidently. Don't worry, although this guy is unreliable, he is still very trustworthy. Baiyu patted Zoran on the shoulder. Help. Colonel Monka. We are not pirates. Help. Colonel Monka is crazy. Help. Dare to resist this uncle. All deserve to die. Suddenly calls for help came from outside, as well as Menka's crazy roar. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 5. Outside the base, Menka's eyes were blood red and he completely lost his mind. Crazy attacks on naval soldiers and town residents. Although Menka's strength is average, to these ordinary people, he is invincible. Otherwise, he would not have been able to dominate this small island for so long. Now that he has lost his mind, his strength has increased a lot. Seeing Menka's state, Baiyu frowned. The butterfly effect was worse than he thought. Luffy saw this and rushed over, very fast. He clenched his hands into fists and threw them behind him, making them very long. Rubber rocket launcher. Boom. Menka flew out instantly and knocked down several houses before stopping. There was no movement anymore. Okay, we have nothing to do now, let's go. Bye. You said and patted Zoro. Zoro fell directly to the ground and said feebly, I'm so hungry. It's a miracle you didn't starve to death. Baiyu helped Zoran up angrily and took him to the restaurant. Finally full. Zoro patted his belly with satisfaction. However, he found that Luffy and Baiyu were still eating, showing no signs of stopping. Why do you two eat more than me? He originally thought that he could eat enough, but he didn't expect that these 2 people could eat better than him. Nami had been dumbfounded for a long time. She had never seen such a good person before. And she saw 3 people at once. Big brother, thank you for saving us all. The little girl Lixiang expressed her sincere thanks. You're welcome, you invited us to dinner too. Baiyu rubbed Lixiang's head. This little girl is really so cute. This is a little thought from all of us. They are all for food and use. Please accept them. The landlady came over with 3 bags. Great, thank you. Luffy accepted it unceremoniously. Then let's go. Bayou now wants Zoro to get on the ship. Only when he gets on the ship will the system determine that Zoro has joined the pirate group. He is looking forward to Zoro's exclusive skills. The 4 people came to the dock. When Zoro and Nami saw after their boat, everyone felt bad. Are you going to become pirates on this ship? Nami suppressed a smile. She had stolen a lot of pirates, and she had never seen such a shabby pirate group. What kind of pirate group did I join? Zoro covered his face and was speechless. The crew will find it soon, and we'll get a bigger ship. Luffy said confidently. Let's go first, the Navy will be here soon, don't forget, we are pirates now. Bayou urged. He was very anxious now. The 4 people got on the boat helplessly. New crew member Roronoa Zoro detected, abilities synchronized successfully. Crew Roronoa Zoro's exclusive skills are being matched. Roronoa Zoro's exclusive skill, One Sword Shura. One Sword Shura, the sword-cutting stunt comes from the world of Heroes of the Fallen Knight. It compresses all its own power and explodes 10 times or 100 times the power in a short period of time. Due to different rules in the world, the effect of the skill will be different. Please refer to it for details. Bayou was stunned, another desperate skill. Does the system think the members of the Straw Hats didn't die quickly enough? Luffy's 8 Gates Dungeon, Zoro's One Sword Shura. What exclusive skills will Nami, Usopp, and Sanji gain? I hope I won't release any more life-threatening skills. Otherwise, the Straw Hat Pirates should just change their name to the Suicide Squad. Zoro, lend me your sword. Bayou wanted to try the feeling of holding a knife. Sauron glanced at Bayou and handed the knife over without saying anything. The moment he touched the knife, Bayou's temperament immediately changed. This change was invisible to others. Came out, but Sauron, as a swordsman, immediately saw it. The look in his eyes towards Bayou also changed. This was the attraction between swordsmen. Although Bayou wanted to practice a few times, this boat was too small and could only seat 4 people. It's already very difficult for me personally. I had no choice but to give up and return the knife to Zoro. Are you still a swordsman? Zoro asked very curiously. Well, this is one of my abilities, similar to the copying fruit. I can copy your abilities, just like copying Luffy's abilities. Bayou knows that his ability will be exposed soon, and it will be more troublesome to explain it then. Now just say it is a fruit ability, and when the Navy knows about it, there will be no problem. Anyway, there are many strange things in this world. Devil fruit ability. Bayou, did you also eat a devil fruit? Luffy's eyes lit up. Well, it's about the ability to copy. Bayou nodded. Amazing. No wonder you can turn into a rubber man too. Luffy's eyes immediately had stars. In other words, you copied my swordsmanship. Zolong looked at Bayou, with fighting spirit rising in his eyes. There is nothing easier to improve your strength than training with yourself. Well, in return, I'll teach you a swordsmanship. Bayou said and put his hand on Zoro's head. Zoro closed his eyes, just like Luffy did at that time. After a moment, white steam appeared on Zoro's body and his skin began to turn red. But the aura on his body stronger. Too horrible. Is this still human? Nami swallowed, and cold sweat appeared on her forehead. A smile appeared on Luffy's face. The stronger the partner, the better. Phew. Zoro opened his eyes and exhaled a hot breath. Bayou, fight with me and let me see how strong I am now. Of course, but not now, this small boat cannot support the 2 of us fighting. Although Bayou is not afraid of sea water, he doesn't want to swim. I want to join too. Luffy shouted excitedly. Okay, let's do some sparring after we get ashore. Bayu naturally has no objections. He also wants to try his own strength. The crew members actively want to become stronger, which is the best thing for him. And Sauron understands the one-sword Shura, and he also understands it. But now Sauron can only compress 1/10 of his own power, and cannot compress it all. But the advantage is that he will not enter a weak state. He also wants to try the power of his exclusive skills. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 6. Orange Town Pier. 4 people successfully landed. Okay, this is Orange Town, let's say goodbye here. You have to be careful, there is a powerful pirate who claims to be immortal in this town. Bye. After Nami finished speaking, she faced the 3 of them. The man waved his hand, turned around and left. Bayu, I want to invite Nami to be our navigator. Luffy said, looking at the direction Nami left. That woman is a thief. Such a person is not suitable to be our partner, right? Zoro frowned. His impression of Nami was not very good. You were a pirate hunter before. How could Bayu not know what Sauron is thinking? I have never considered myself a pirate hunter. Sauron looked at Bayu, fighting spirit rising in his eyes. Bayu, let's compete. Gilug. Luffy's stomach made a sound. Immediately afterwards, Bayu's stomach also made a sound. Zoro's stomach also made a sound soon after. The few of them stayed on the boat all day, eating the little food given by the villagers. Yeah, it's not enough for Luffy and Bayu, the 2 big eaters. I think it would be better if we eat something first. Bye. You said seriously. Luffy and Zoro nodded immediately. The 3 of them searched for a restaurant in the town. After wandering for a long time, they found nothing, not even a single person in the town. Bayu then remembered, Orange Town should have been occupied by Bucky the Clown at this time. It seems that this place has been occupied by the pirate Nami mentioned. If we want to eat, we have to go find that pirate. Bayu said helplessly. Well, I also want to see the immortal pirate. Luffy doesn't have any objections, as long as he can get something to eat, that's fine. How can you 2 still fight in your current state? Gilug. Before Zoro could finish his words, his stomach growled again. He has been practicing one-sword Shura, which consumes a lot of physical strength. And there's nothing to eat? It's weird if I'm not hungry now. Just hang on. Bayu was also very helpless. He vowed to get a big boat when he left here. He would never go hungry again. Damn thief. Stop. Dare to steal from the buggy pirates. Court death. Stop. Hand over your stuff. When the 3 people heard someone shouting, they immediately ran away. When Nami saw the faces of the 3 people, she suddenly became happy and ran towards them quickly. Sure enough, he has an accomplice. When the pirates saw Nami hiding behind the 3 of them, they immediately regarded Bayu and the others as Nami's accomplices. Don't get me wrong, I don't know her, please continue. Bayu pulled Luffy and Zoro and backed away. Bayu. You bastard. Nami gritted her teeth angrily. It's okay if you want us to rescue you. You can continue to be our navigator. Of course, it's just a cooperative relationship. How about it? Bayu wasn't angry either. He lured Nami onto the boat first. At this time, the pirates had already rushed over. So she was a little anxious. If she was caught by these people, she would be finished. I promise you. Nami said through gritted teeth. What did you say? The voice was too low for me to hear. Bayu looked like I couldn't hear him. Asshole. I said I would like to join you as a navigator. Nami almost yelled, she was so angry. Captain, What should we do if our navigator is bullied? Bayou looked at Luffy. No one can bully our navigators. Luffy clenched his fists, blocking the pursuing pirates. Zoro said nothing, glanced at Nami, then turned to look at the pursuing pirates, and said coldly, if you take a step forward, you will die. Pirate Hunter Roronoa Zoro. The chasing pirates were frightened to death when they saw Sauron. In the East China Sea, Sauron is still somewhat famous. You are the pirate group that has taken over this town. Take us to see your captain. Bayou said. Okay, okay. How dare the pirates disagree? And they believe that their captain Bucky can definitely defeat these people. Hey, do you really want to see that Bucky? Nami is still a little scared of Bucky. Let's go, navigator. Bayou smiled slightly and finally tricked Nami into boarding the ship. He just didn't know if the system would admit it. He would never have too many exclusive skills. Soon, the group arrived at the small town. The tallest building. Before you even walked in, you could hear the noisy sounds of pirates outside. The pirate who led the way looked back, then immediately accelerated and ran in. It seemed like there was a banquet, and it looked like we had something to eat. Bayou's nose moved and smelled the delicious food. Bayou, Zoro, Nami, let's go. Luffy said and rushed in first. Are you sure they will welcome us? Sauron looked at Bayou and asked. It doesn't matter whether you welcome us or not, we are all here anyway. If you don't welcome us, why don't you just give us a beating? Bayou said and walked in. Zoro shook his head helplessly and followed in. Pirates are pirates after all, and there are no good people. Nami looked at the three people, and the good feeling that just arose in her heart disappeared instantly. However, she still stepped in. Captain Bucky. There is an enemy invasion. The pirate shouted loudly. Bucky, who was eating and drinking, was suddenly frightened and spit out the wine. Bang! The door was knocked open, and the pirate who reported the news was instantly knocked out. Meat. It smells so good. Luffy's eyes lit up when he saw the tables of delicious food. It seems that we came at the right time, the party seems to have just begun. Whitefeather also walked out. Zoro followed closely. Bucky's eyes narrowed slightly after seeing Luffy's straw hat. He would never forget that straw hat. Who are you? We are here for a banquet. Luffy said very honestly, then he sat down unceremoniously and started eating and drinking. Don't worry about us, just eat and drink. Zoro, sit here. Bayou was also unceremonious. He pulled Zoro to sit down and started eating. They were really hungry. No matter what, let's have a meal first. Asshole. Baki saw a few people ignoring him and became furious. Kill them for me. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 7. Chapter 7, 8 Gates of Dungia. Open. Wait a moment. Bayou shouted. Do you want to ask for mercy now? Bucky was very proud. If he dared to run wild in his territory, he was simply seeking death. Beg for mercy? You smiled and said, how is that possible? I just want to tell you that it's best for us to finish eating and leave. Otherwise, you will be miserable. Asshole. How dare you threaten me? Bucky's face darkened. Young ones, kill them for me. Yes. Captain Bucky. The pirates immediately took the order, picked up their weapons and were ready to take action. I'm full, leave it to me. Sauron stood up, unsheathed 3 swords, and looked at these pirates coldly. You'd better not move around, or I'll chop you to death. These pirates were immediately frightened. Zoro's notoriety was still very intimidating to these pirates. Roronoa Zoro, are you here to take my head? Bucky's eyes narrowed slightly. He had heard about Zoro. I no longer want to be a pirate hunter, and I have no interest in your head. Zoro turned his head and glanced at the two people who were eating and drinking. He was also a little speechless. At this time, these two people can still eat so much. You are not interested in me, but I am very interested in you. If I kill you, I will become famous in the East China Sea. Bucky had a smile on his face. Captain Bucky! Captain Bucky! The pirates immediately started shouting and cheering. I advise you to listen to our deputy captain and let us finish eating and leave, otherwise you will be really miserable and may die. Zoro shook his head and started to persuade. The most important thing is that facing Bucky, he had no desire to do anything. He was too weak. Gorgeous be damned! Bucky shouted excitedly, took out two short knives and rushed towards Zoro. Looking at Bucky who was rushing over, his whole body was full of flaws, he shook his head helplessly and rushed over quickly. Whoa! Bucky's body immediately he was split into two halves and fell to the ground. The whole place was immediately silent. Zoro frowned, thinking how strong this so-called immortal pirate was. But it ended with a single blow. Do you still want to go? Zoro looked at the pirates of the Bucky pirates. Ha ha ha. The pirates laughed loudly. The captain was killed, how could they still laugh? After all, this guy was too weak, right? Luffy looked at the laughing pirates very strangely. Luffy, remember, don't underestimate anyone, especially your enemies. Bayou naturally knew that Bucky would not be killed so easily. Oh. Luffy nodded understandingly. At this moment, Bucky who was lying on the ground moved, and one of the hands holding the knife flew out quickly. Zoro! Careful! Luffy shouted immediately. Zoro turned his head and saw the flying hand. He was also startled and quickly evaded. Although he barely escaped, he was still scratched. Who are you? Zoro uncovered his wound with a somewhat ugly look on his face. I ate the quartered fruit, and I became a quartered person who could not be killed no matter how I chopped it. Your knife is of no use to me, Bucky said as he split his body into many parts. It turned out to be a torn man. Is that guy a monster? Luffy complained. You're not much better, are you? Bayou looked at Luffy speechlessly. He actually had the nerve to call others monsters. A sneak attack from behind is so despicable. Big red nose. Luffy yelled. Bucky's face immediately darkened. What he hated most was people talking about his nose. With a gloomy face, a flying knife flew out. Luffy easily dodged it. Okay, now that you're full, it's time to work. Bayou stood up and walked to Saran. How is it? It's okay, it's just a minor injury, he won't die. Zoro waved his hand, indicating that he was fine. You'd better take a break and lend me a knife. Bayou helped Saran sit on the chair and took one of Saran's swords. Idiot. I'm a torn person who can't be cut to death no matter how hard I cut it, so you still want to fight me with a knife? Baki looked at Bayou's face full of ridicule. Who said I want to fight you? Bye. You smiled. Luffy, I'll leave this guy to you, I'll take care of the others. No problem. Luffy clenched his fists excitedly and walked towards Bucky. What a shameless statement. A man appeared on a unicycle with a knife in his hand, said acrobatic Kabeki, chief of staff of the Buggy Pirates. Phew. Too much nonsense. Bayou put away the knife, and Kabeji fell to the ground. He turned to look at the other pirates. It's your turn. After the words fell, Bayou rushed into the crowd. Just like a wolf entering a flock of sheep, no one can stop him. Little Kaba. Asshole. Bucky roared angrily and was about to attack Bayou. Your opponent is me. Luffy stopped Bucky. Looking at your straw hat, I think of that damn red-haired man. Baki looked at Luffy with very angry eyes, as if he had seen a life and death feud. Red-haired man? Do you know Shanks? Luffy asked in surprise. Go to hell. Bucky took advantage of Luffy's distracted moment and immediately launched a sneak attack. His fists holding three swords were very fast. Another sneak attack, so despicable. Luffy yelled and quickly dodged. But Bucky's sneak attack was too fast. Although Luffy escaped the attack, his straw hat was cut open. You bastard! How dare you harm this hat? This is my baby. Luffy was heartbroken when he saw the cut straw hat, and the look he looked at Bucky was even more intense. Anger. Baby? Bucky sneered, since it's a treasure, you should protect it even more. After the words fell, the flying fist flew back again. Poof. The blade on the fist directly penetrated the straw hat in Luffy's hand and flew to Bucky's hand. This shabby straw hat is still used as a treasure. It's so funny. Ha ha ha. Bucky laughed wildly, then threw his straw hat directly on the ground and stepped on it with his feet. You deserve to die. Luffy clenched his fists, his face filled with anger. 8-door Dungia, open the door. Open. 8 gates Dungia, shut up. Open. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 8. Luffy, in an angry state, directly activated the 8-gate dungeon. And it went directly to the second door. Close the door. Luffy's skin turned red quickly, and there was a faint heat in his body. What's this? Bucky hasn't finished speaking yet. Luffy appeared in front of Bucky, as fast as lightning. So fast. Emergency escape. Bucky was frightened and quickly activated his fruit power. But how could Luffy, who had opened the door to sleep, let him have his wish? Boom. Luffy kicked Bucky in the chin, sending him flying into the air. Ruined. Bucky's ability can only be activated by having both feet on the ground. It is completely impossible to activate the fruit ability while in the air. Luffy jumped up high and punched Bucky in the stomach again. Ahem, me. Show Lotus. Luffy didn't give Bucky a chance to speak at all. He wrapped his arms tightly around Bucky. His body quickly spun and landed quickly towards the ground. Boom. The powerful force knocked a deep pit into the ground. Bakiji was lying on the ground, motionless, not knowing whether he was alive or dead. Captain Bucky. When the gangsters of the Bucky Pirates saw Bucky being defeated, they all exclaimed, "Asshole!" Luffy released the 8-door armor state and picked up his hat, feeling very distressed. It's okay, it can be repaired, don't you think so, Nami? Bayou has discovered Nami a long time ago. This money-grubbing little thief cat is dragging a big bag of treasures. It's hard not to find out. Asshole. Nami murmured and smiled apologetically, of course there's no problem, I can help fix it. Really? Thank you so much, Nami. Luffy was very excited and quickly thanked. You are very welcome. Nami is also a little embarrassed. Let's go, wake up Saran, we can finally get a big ship this time. Bayou walked over and woke up Saran from his sleep. This time, he no longer had to make a boat. Big ship? Where is the big ship? Luffy asked with a puzzled look on his face. Of course it's the Bucky Pirates ship. With so many of them, the pirate ship must be quite big. Bayou said very speechlessly. Yes. Then let's go quickly. Luffy quickly picked up his hat and ran away. Bayou woke Zoro up and followed behind with the Bucky Pirates treasure. But when they arrived at the dock, Bucky's pirate ship was gone. Asshole. Don't let me know who stole my pirate ship. Bayou clenched his fists and was very angry. The big boat he got was actually stolen. Although they were helpless, the four of them had no choice but to set off again in the small boat. Ding. New crew member Nami detected, ability synchronization successful. Crew Nami's exclusive skills are being matched. Match successful, crew member Nami's exclusive skill, electromagnetic gun. Railgun, the signature move from the protagonist Misaka Mikoto in a certain magical index. Due to different rules in the world, the skill effects have been slightly changed. Please experience it yourself for details. It turns out to be Sister Pau's signature skill. Baiyu was also very surprised. He didn't expect that Nami would acquire such a powerful skill. Although Luffy's 8-Gate Dungeon and Zoro's One-Sword Shura are also very powerful, they are both desperate abilities. But strictly speaking, the electromagnetic gun is not just a skill, but an ability. Because if you want to use this skill, you must have Misaka Mikoto's superpower. This is equivalent to eating a devil fruit that is not afraid of sea water. Okay, patched. Nami handed the repaired straw hat to Luffy. Marvelous. Thank you, Nami. Luffy was very happy when he saw the repaired straw hat. Not so polite. Nami smiled knowingly. Since Nami helped Luffy repair the straw hat and joined our pirate group, as the deputy captain, I will give you a reward. Bye. You said with a smile. Award. Nami looked surprised. How much? Bayu's face darkened. No money. Forget it if you don't have money, and we are just a cooperative relationship. I am not your partner. Nami corrected her and turned her head away from Baiyu. The reward is still valid, just come to me when you want it. Baiyu didn't force it. The most important thing was that he was afraid that Nami would not be able to control the power and destroy the boat. Then they would have to swim to Psylop village. Next, Usopp would get on the boat. There are also the first pirate ship of the Straw Hat Pirates, the Golden Mary. After a day of sailing, the boat was shaking and finally saw the island. Very good. We can finally go ashore. I want to eat meat. Luffy shouted loudly. Something's wrong. There's a pirate ship ahead. Baiyu saw the pirate ship on the coast and narrowed his eyes. Is this place also occupied by pirates? Sauron stood up and looked at Baiyu. Let me do this battle. Never. Impossible. Luffy and Baiyu said in unison. Luffy is a real fighting maniac. Baiyu needs to continue fighting to improve the power of merging Zoro and Luffy. As for Nami's little strength, completely ignore it. Regardless, it will only be useful unless you master Misaka Mikoto's abilities. You two bastards. Do you want to compete first? Zoron's forehead veins popped out. Okay, I know you feel aggrieved about fighting the Bucky pirates. I'll leave the sword to you this time. Can we do the rest? Baiyu also knows that Zoro feels aggrieved. Moreover, the Black Cat pirates are also a good experience for Zoro. Luffy has already understood the second gate of the 8 Gates dungeon, and hopes that Zoro can do it this time. Understand Udashira more deeply. Good. Zoro nodded. Nami looked at the three people helplessly. She felt that these three people were just crazy people. That pirate ship was obviously not small, and there would definitely be many pirates. There were only 3 of them, and there were just 3 of them. Dare to fight so many people. Then I'll take the first step. Luffy swung his arm and grabbed the pirate ship on the coast. Rubber rocket. Bang. Luffy was ejected directly. Zoro, do you want a ride? Baiyu looked at Sauron and said. Good. Zoro is really afraid that Luffy will blow everyone away, and then he won't be the one to take part. Nami, I'll leave it to you to get the money. We'll go there first. Baiyu said and immediately grabbed the pirate ship. Zoro hugged Baiyu and the two of them flew out. 3 lunatics. Nami was speechless when she saw the behavior of the 3 people, but when she thought about the money, her eyes lit up. There should be a lot of money in such a big pirate ship, right? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 9. Asshole. He was blocked by this person for so long. Zhang Jiao was very dissatisfied with his men. He knew very well that if he made Crow unhappy, all of them would be killed. Even if you die, I won't let you destroy the village either. Usopp was covered in scars, holding a slingshot in his hand, and his eyes were determined. He knew that if he fell, the village would be over. Then go die. Deal with him. Zhang Jiao was very angry. It was his shame to be delayed for so long by a useless person. Not good. No more ammo. Usopp touched his backpack and found that there was no ammunition. At this moment, something seemed to fly over from a distance. Oops. It seems like a person. Usopp was startled and wanted to dodge, but it was too late. Bang. Luffy hit Usopp solidly. Immediately afterwards, Baiyu and Zoro also flew over. Ahem. Baiyu, you bastard. He actually put me underneath. Zoro roared loudly. This is considered travel expenses. After all, don't you have Luffy below? Baiyu smiled slightly and was not angry either. It's so strange. Why does it seem like there's someone underneath me? Luffy said very strangely after standing up. Asshole. You can't see. Usopp yelled, but after seeing the three people, he was stunned. Only then did he remember that the other party seemed to have flown over from the sea. Couldn't he be with those pirates? You. Usopp's voice trembled. I am Monkey D. Luffy, the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Luffy's standard self-introduction. One Piece. Usopp was shocked. Are you fighting these pirates alone? Luffy said very curiously. Of course, I am the bravest sea warrior. It's so easy to deal with these people. Usopp stood up immediately, full of momentum. Wow! Amazing! Luffy's eyes lit up instantly. In this case, brave sea warrior, let us see how you fight. Baiyu sat directly on the ground, ready to watch the show. Zoro glanced at Baiyu and sat on the ground. Luffy also sat on the ground. Usopp's face suddenly looked ugly. He just thought about it. Bragging, completely forgetting that there are pirates who are going to attack the village. While they were chatting, those pirates had already rushed up. Let me show you what a true maritime warrior is. Usopp tried hard not to let his body tremble. He took out a lot of triangular nails and threw them out. Ah! Asshole! So despicable. It hurts. Don't hit me. Despicable sea warrior. The pirates cursed loudly. Although Baiyu had known that it would be like this, he was still a little surprised when he saw it with his own eyes. Don't worry so much. Rush up and kill them. If you delay Captain Crow's plan, you all know the consequences. Zhang Jiao shouted loudly. Hearing Zhang Jiao's words, cold sweat broke out on the foreheads of the other pirates. They rushed up quickly regardless of the nails on the ground. Zoro, leave these people to you, I won't fight with you. Baiyu said seriously. Asshole. These people are all minions. Although Zoro said he was unwilling, he still stepped forward very honestly. Shuro with one sword. Boom. Powerful power burst out from the body. Usopp standing aside was so frightened that he fell to the ground. Are you concerned? Just a few minions. Baiyu didn't expect Sauron to directly attack Shura. I can only compress 1/10 of my strength now, and I feel that only fighting can make me make a breakthrough. Zoran held the knife in his hand tightly, his eyes firm. He wants to become stronger, become stronger. I understand, but I'm afraid these people can't bring pressure to you. Once you deal with them, I will fight with you. Baiyu nodded. Since Sauron wanted to become stronger, there was no reason why he couldn't do it. Sauron didn't speak, nodded, and rushed forward. Although he only compressed 1/10 of his strength. But in an instant it burst out, and its power and speed were several times stronger than usual. Dang, dang, dang. All the pirates who rushed up flew out instantly. So strong. Usopp's eyes widened and he couldn't believe it. He tried his best to hold these people back. The person in front of him turned out to be just a move. Asshole. You won't be knocked down so easily, right? Zhang roared angrily. The injured pirate immediately struggled to get up. Come here, look here, wait until I count to 2 and say praise, your injuries will be fully recovered and you will become stronger. Zhang took out the ring and started to hypnotize the pirate. Roar. After the hypnosis was completed, all the pirates roared, their muscles all over the body swelled, and their aura was very powerful. The injuries just now seemed to have recovered. He used it faster than before. Rushing towards Sauron at such a speed. Have you become stronger? Zoro looked at the person rushing over expectantly. However, at this moment, Luffy suddenly stood up. Ah! Luffy roared angrily and was about to rush over. Damn it! I forgot that Luffy could be hypnotized. Baiyu quickly grabbed Luffy. Luffy, wake up. Ah! Luffy turned his head to look at Baiyu and punched out. Bang! Lost your mind. Baiyu blocked the punch with a smile on his face. He was about to have a fight with Luffy. Now that Luffy is hypnotized, it's just right. Rubber tornado. Luffy kicked me over. Don't forget, this is what I taught you. Konoha tornado. Bang. The legs collided together, causing a storm. Usopp on the side was blown away. Asshole. Why are you two fighting? Zoro roared. Luffy was also hypnotized. Boom. Before Baiyu could finish his words, he was punched by Luffy. 8 gates Dungia. Open the door. Open. 8 gates Dungia. Close the door. Open. Baiyu felt the power of opening the 2 doors, turned his head and looked at Luffy. You dare to hit me, you are finished. I am the strongest officer of the Straw Hats. Author, Super Red. Chapter 10. Baiyu opened the 8-gate Dungia for the first time. Although I only opened the 2nd door, I was still a little excited to feel the powerful power in my body. Finally, I have some ability to protect myself. Of course, it's okay in the East China Sea, but it's definitely not enough if it reaches the Grand Line. However, he has only been in this world for a few days, and he can already have such strength. I believe it won't take long to gain stronger power. Next, he had to find a way to acquire the training methods of the 6th form of the Navy and the 3 colors of Haki. As for the battle in front of him, Luffy is just fighting on instinct. He activated the 8 gates of Dungia, which was complete abuse. Do not fight. Do not fight. Luffy woke up and quickly stopped fighting. Woke up. Baiyu looked at Luffy with a smile. He had a great fight just now. Baiyu, why do I feel that your 8-gate Dungia is stronger than mine? Luffy asked in confusion. Every time you open one of the 8 gates Dungia, your strength will change dramatically, but all of this is related to your own strength. The stronger you are, the stronger the 8 gates Dungia will be. Do you understand? Baiyu doesn't want Luffy to rely too much on the 8-gate Dungia. It's fine in the early stage, but if he doesn't have domineering power in the later stage, he'll be really at a disadvantage. Especially when facing the natural system, you can't hit anyone without domineering power. I seem to understand. Luffy tilted his head and pinched his chin, thinking about Baiyu's words. Forget it, you will understand it naturally later. Baiyu looked at Luffy, whose IQ was below the line, and felt a little helpless. At this time, Zoro also solved all the pirates. Baiyu. Come and fight me. What are you in a hurry? You just used Yideo Shura. Take a rest. Baiyu was speechless. Okay, I'll take a nap first. Zoro said and lay down on the ground and started to sleep. He fell asleep in a second and started snoring. That, you. Usopp hid aside, but still stuck out his head, sweating profusely. Are you Usopp? Luffy said immediately. Hey, how do you know my name? Usopp was stunned for a moment, forgetting even his fear. I have met your father, Jesus Bulletin, and I have heard too much about you, so I recognized you when I saw you. You and your father look so much alike, they are exactly the same. Luffy also had a smile on his face. He was in a good mood because he had met someone familiar. Have you met my dad? Where is he? Usopp ran over excitedly and held Luffy's shoulders. Well, your dad's marksmanship is really good, and he's on Shanks' ship now. Luffy nodded with a smile. Red-haired Shanks' ship? My dad was on such a powerful pirate ship. Woo woo. Usopp was very excited. After all these years, he finally knew the news about his father. By the way, what happened to these pirates? Luffy asked curiously. Ah! Damn it! Kaya! Usopp suddenly reacted and immediately turned around to save people. But just as he turned around, he stopped. Because a man with eyes and a suit came over carrying a package. I said why my subordinates didn't come. It turns out that you were the ones to deal with it. Usopp, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect that you could find someone to help you. Crow said, pushing his eyes with strange gestures, and his face immediately darkened. In this case, let's chop you all to death. Sauron, get up, you have an opponent. Baiyu immediately woke up Sauron. Although this crow's character and strength are not very good, he is fast. If Sauron doesn't use Yudashira, he should feel the pressure. Who? Zoro opened his eyes. That's him. Just now he said he wanted to chop us to death. He should be the one using the sword. I'll leave it to you. However, I suggest you not to use the one-sword Shura. It's just a skill. Your own strength is the foundation. Baiyu believes that Sauron will understand this truth, but Sauron is too eager to become stronger. And he also knows that even if Sauron completely masters the sword Shura now, he has no chance of winning against Hawkeye. I see. Zoro said and stood up and came to Crow. Come on, let me see how you hack me to death. CLO didn't say anything, opened the package, and took out the blade that looked like a cat's claw. You all deserve to die. As soon as he finished speaking, Crow disappeared. Poof. 5 blood marks appeared on Sauron's body. That's how I'll chop you to death. Claude pushed up her glasses. You got me a little excited. Zoro took out the third knife from his waist and bit it on his mouth. He was going to go all out. It's no use using 3 knives. CLO said and disappeared again. Dang. Zoro blocked the blow. There is a big difference between 3 swords and 3 sword styles. Klo narrowed his eyes slightly, started the silent step, and disappeared from Sauron's eyes again. Captain Crow, save me. The hypnotist Zongjeo who was slashed by Sauron woke up. It seems that your approach is a bit light. Claude immediately appeared next to Zongjeo. Captain. Poof. 5 sharp blades pierced Zongjeo's heart. You. Zongjeo's eyes widened. He never thought that he would die in the hands of his most trusted captain. Asshole. He actually killed his own partner. Luffy immediately became angry. I am no longer a pirate. As long as I get Kaya's property, I can enjoy it in peace. Everyone who knows my identity will die. You helped me deal with these people and saved me a lot of time. As long as I kill you, no one will know my identity. Spoon to death. After Crow finished speaking, he lowered his head and his body began to shake, as if he was about to fall down at any time. Suddenly, the body stopped shaking. Crow's figure disappeared instantly. A wound suddenly appeared on Zoro's body again. Immediately afterwards, Luffy also had wounds on his body. Usopp, come to me. Baiyu said immediately. With their physical strength, as long as they don't hit the vital points, it won't be a big deal if they hit them a few times. But Usopp's physique is probably going to kill him in one go. What a speed! Zoran subconsciously wanted to activate the one-sword Shura. But thinking of Baiyu's words, he immediately interrupted this idea. He looked around carefully. Poof! A blood mark appeared again on his body. But Zoran ignored it and closed his eyes. Got you! Zoro slashed out in an instant. Poof! Crow fell to the ground. Baiyu was stunned for a moment. Because Zoro actually awakened the Haki of knowledge.